Welcome to Higher Presence. I have a great show for you today. My guest is an executive coach. She has worked with multi-million dollar businesses and bringing them to new heights and all across the country. She's a speaker, author, and she's done a number of different programs around the country teaching people how to manage the transition. Higher Presence is all about helping job seekers become job finders. So, my guest today, Deanna Frazier, is going to talk to us about, especially in her life, which is the transition. That's what they call it nowadays, isn't it, Deanna?
The transition, exactly right. They don't call it unemployed. They don't call it let it go. They don't call it anything else but transition. It's a great word.
Yeah, it's a great word. Now, you have some extreme experience in that area. Tell me a little bit about your story where you actually owned a company that did career planning?
I did. Well, I started in the seminar business where I owned a public seminar that helped people just create a better life through behaviors, changing their behaviors. And that transitioned into a career consulting company, which I built. I had 7 offices for about 8 years. Transitioned out of there for lots of different reasons and went on the road as a consultant. Not a good idea. And I did that for about 6 years. It was a great career, no life. So it's, having balance and having a life is very important to people. And particularly now, part of what I help people do is create a life plan and talk about having balance. So I needed balance. So I became a virtual certified coach. I went to Coach U, took 2 years of studies and recreated my business again into now more, about 70% virtual, 30% workshops and seminars. So yeah, it's been interesting because the kind of people I work with are in transition, and guess what, Pat? We all are at some level at some time. There's relationship transition, career transitions, life transitions. Yes.
Isn't it funny though? Sometimes you get paid to be in transition, and sometimes you don't.
That's right. Sometimes you don't ask for it, and you just have to deal with it.
Well, when you talk about the this whole career planning that you were doing, how do you help somebody in that transition? I mean, I know as a coach you have a huge value. How do you begin that process?
I believe the biggest value that we have with people is to help them to understand who they are, so that when they go forward, they're going from a place of strength and not just jumping from getting a job to another job. So I do a lot of work around helping them define their personal foundation so they're really grounded in what their true values are. Now, I say that, and at the same time, I have to be cognizant. Some people have to have a job, and it's all about finances. If that's the case, that's what we do, and we do a whole bunch of work around getting that done as quickly as possible. If they have the time to really explore who they are and what they really want, it's wonderful. And sometimes I can do both at the same time. Yeah.
Right. Well, I know that sometimes if you're working, and they say that's always better to look for a job when you're working. But right now, the work environment is so competitive and so tight, in the sense that there are very few jobs for an enormous number of employees,
Right.
or potential employees.
Right.
So when we're talking to some of those folks, and I know if you're in that position, these got some great tools for you. So if they're in that environment, what are some action steps they can begin to do right from the get-go?
Yeah, the first thing I try to get people to understand that they are now, regardless of what they did before, they are now an entrepreneur, because now you're selling a service. So like it or not, you're wearing a hat that's called, I'm in business for myself, and I am now the product. So it's very important that as a product, you really understand what you're selling, which are the benefits to why someone should hire you. And those benefits are based on the achievements and accomplishments you had in the past. It's not what you did, it's why it mattered with what you did. So I help people to look at, what that is. And you'd be surprised, all levels, Pat, how difficult that is. Because we're not used to saying every day, I made a difference in this company. It's just not how we're programmed. We go to work, we go home. We go to work, and we go home. But at the end of the day, it had to have a reason. So I really spend a lot of time helping people understand why it mattered and what they accomplished. Either make money, save money, or make someone else's life easier so they make money or save money. And once they get that, then the confidence increases and they have something real in the way of benefits done it for them. I can do it for you. Ask me how.
Right. So what you're saying is looking at what are the solutions that they have inside of them to the problems that the employer is looking for.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
they're now salespeople. They're entrepreneurs and they're selling, and their product is who they are, is the service, and they now have to do the R&D on that product so that when they go forward, they know exactly who they are and why they have value.
Well, I know that when we come back from the break, we're going to talk a bit about how somebody can do some of that research, where they can get some of their best answers, and really how they can begin to position themselves as a bundle of assets, not liabilities.
Yes, that's right.
And so I know that Deanna, it's Deanna Frazier,
Right.
and DeannaFrazier.com
Right.
is who we're working with today and visiting with, and she's given us some real good tools to begin to finish the transition from job seeker to job finder. We'll be right back after these messages, and thank you so much. We'll be right back.
The Weight Loss Surgery Channel is the world's first online television network devoted exclusively to the weight loss surgery community. Find the information, support, and guidance that can keep you on the road to success. The Weight Loss Surgery Channel, here for you on the web 24 hours a day, every day. Visit us at weightlosssurgerychannel.com.